Hey guys, it is Raymond here from the Beginner Photography Podcast. Today we are talking about falling in love with photography. Let's get into it. Alright guys, we are here again today. I am super excited about this episode. We have had, and by we, I mean me and my family, I guess. We've had quite an awesome week this week. I'd love to know what you guys are up to as well. We just got back, actually just like 15 minutes ago, from St. Louis. So my wife and I are here in Indianapolis. That's my local market. That's where we live. And we have family who lives down in St. Louis. And my wife and I have been down there before, but, last time we went down there, I think it was like 19 degrees. I mean, it was frigid. So when we went to go walk around, it wasn't miserable, but I mean, it was pretty much miserable. So we really didn't get to do much at all. So this time it was great because we got to bring the kids. We went down to the Arch. We went to the Botanical Gardens this morning. And it was wonderful. It was a perfect early fall day. You know what I mean? It was kind of jacket weather, but at the same time, if you were walking quite a bit, you could unzip it, and it was just really comfortable and really great. It was fun because I got to bring out the 360 camera and set up a few shots for some family portraits that I then posted on Facebook. And it was just really interesting to see. This was really the first time that I used the 360 camera trying to show off a landscape, trying to use it for more than just one lens, because with 360 it's really interesting because you're not looking at one thing. You're trying to be in an interesting situation that people will want to immerse themselves in and have something interesting happen, right? So we were in this beautiful botanical garden, and just where we were, everywhere where you looked was beautiful. It was like this desert scape. There was this beautiful fountain right in the center, and then our family was up on this little kind of ridge looking over the gate at the water fountain. And I just thought that it was really a good image that was kind of compelling to look all the way around and really utilize 360, because that is the key. If you can figure out how to use 360 natively and not use it like you're just using any old regular camera, you're going to win at it. And it's going to be great. So that's what I've been up to, trying to figure out how to win at it. Also, get this. This is so awesome. This morning, I woke up to an email from one of my couples whose engagement photos I shot that said, "Hey, do you do elopements? Because we are getting eloped, or we are eloping in Iceland next year, and we want to know more about your services so that we can figure out how we're going to get you up there." How cool is that? How cool? Iceland. I've never been to Iceland. I've always wanted to go to Iceland. I've always been very adventurous and travel happy. And if there's, even the idea of adventure in anything, I will take it. I will jump on it and I will do it 100%. So when I read that email this morning, it was the other day, I freaked out. I was so excited. So hopefully we can get that going. And how cool would that be to podcast from Iceland? What? Tell me what you would think about that. Would you want me to podcast from Iceland? Would you want me to just kind of hang out, bring all my gear, set it up in the middle of these old volcanic fields, and just set up an old school style interview in the middle of this Martian looking landscape? Huh? Would you be interested in that? I would be. I think that would make for some really interesting conversation. Anyway, this week we got quite the episode for ya. I found these two. Well, I'll just get into that in the interview. These two, man, this kind of actually ties in really well with how I was just so excited about adventure and going to Iceland. These two, they're travelers. They love to travel. They love adventure. They love getting out. They love seeing new things. And they take advantage of it 100%. And it is just so cool to watch them on their journeys. Individually, they are husband and wife now, wedding photographers, and they just take such an interesting look, or an interesting perspective rather, into photography. It's more than just pulling out a camera and just trying to document the moment. I mean, they really go a whole lot deeper than that, and they're killing it. I mean, you're gonna hear they're just oh my gosh, shooting more than 50 weddings next year. 50. I wouldn't even want to shoot 50 weddings. That's insane. That's how much of a workhorse these two are. And like I said, always up for an adventure. They will say yes, of course. Really admire that. That's so cool. So how about we just get right into the interview right now? I'm excited for it. Let's go. Today, I'm really excited for this episode. I found today's guest when their video of their own wedding was posted on Facebook of one of the wedding photography groups that I follow. And immediately, I felt this sense of electricity just go through my body because it was just so incredible. Just all of a sudden, because of this one video, I just felt alive. And I knew that once I checked out their own work, that I had to get them on the podcast. Because they are, I'm serious, the whole package. So today I'm talking to newlyweds, Caitlin and Thad. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Hey, everybody.
Can you guys give a little bit of an introduction about who you two are and what you two do?
So I'm Caitlin, and this is Thad, and we're wedding photographers. We started about 5 years ago, and we photograph people's wedding day and all the things that go along with it: engagements, boudoir, bridal, the whole shebang of weddings.
So we met about 2.5 years ago, and at first I didn't even really know that this part of photography, the wedding industry, really existed. And then I met her through my cousin, and then from there I really, really loved her work. So I got more and more interested in it, and then one day she just asked if I wanted to shoot a wedding with her. I did, and then from there I started shooting more and more. So I've been shooting almost every wedding with her for about a year. Well, about a year now.
About a year?
Yeah. So almost every wedding we shoot together for about a year now. So before that, it was a little off and on. So it's been about a year for me, and it's been about probably 3 years that she's been doing it. 2 or 3 years that she's been doing it full time. But
yeah,
it's been awesome.
Thad, when she asked you to shoot that first wedding with her, was that like a first date almost, or
it was a few months. It was we've been dating for a few months. So what we ended up doing is we were dating, and then I really loved her work, and I would always tell her how much I loved it. I never thought that I would be that interested in it.
He's a tech guy. He's a tech guy for sure.
So understanding cameras and stuff like that to me was pretty easy to understand how it worked. When it came to the difficult stuff of actually having the eye for photography, where it was the more difficult part. So, but everything that I've learned so far basically came from her.
All right, I love it. I mean, that's definitely a cheap way to learn for sure, and not having to pay for an education. So I love it. I want to ask, because to all the listeners who haven't seen this, you have to go to the website right now. Go to the Beginner Photography Podcast and go to the show notes for this episode, because I'm going to link to your wedding teaser on the website, because I'm telling you, it is just absolutely that incredible. So my first question is, whose idea was it to get married in Yosemite?
I think it was both of our ideas. We really, really love to travel. We've been to the West Coast three or so times so far. Together. And so from there, we figured that nobody has been to Yosemite.
Yeah, nobody that came to the wedding had ever been there, except for David and his wife, who were part of the videography team. But none of our family had been there. None of our friends had been there. So we were like, let's just show everyone a new place and then also get married.
That is awesome.
So it was kind of just a joint decision on what would be the most epic spot to actually go, and Yosemite was
calling our name.
Of course. Oh man, I think Yosemite calls a lot of people's names. It's hard for people who haven't been there to really understand. I guess the whole flow of the park and just how large it is, right? Especially people who have Macs now. It's their wallpaper is going to be, Half Dome, El Capitan, North Dome, all these iconic places, but it's so hard to get any sort of scale. You just think, oh, that's a nice rock. That's a beautiful rock. But until you go there, and I'm telling you.
No idea.
Yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. And watching your video, I think that, obviously I know that you guys didn't create the video, but there's one shot in particular, and I think that it's a drone shot where you guys are standing off. I think it's Glacier Point. I could be wrong, but you guys are standing. What's that?
Point. It's
Yeah.
Tap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys are standing there, and the drone is like coming up to reveal the valley below, and just the size that you two are, and the size of this valley just really. For my wife, who's never been to Yosemite, she immediately was taken aback. I was like, "Oh my God, I had no idea that it was that big," and it's just breathtaking. And
Yeah.
I don't think
unreal.
that you guys could have picked a better spot to get married. So
It was awesome. I'm really scared of heights, so that was kind of like, that was fun. That was a fun day. Make some fears up there.
because you guys went up there. I mean, you were like fully clothed. You guys changed when you got up to the top, right? That must have been a long
Well,
hike.
yeah, we changed. That was the next. Some of it was the next day.
Yeah.
Some of it was the day before, and some of it was the day of the wedding. He shot for the whole weekend, so
Yeah, we
got dressed.
We got married on Saturday, and then we actually got dressed for sunrise that Sunday morning, and then
and sunset.
we went for a sunrise session, and then we went for a sunset session the day after our wedding. So some of that stuff that you see in the video is a mix between both.
Yeah.
Sure, but making it up to the top. Did you guys like change up
Well,
there?
Oh yeah, we changed
Yeah.
up there.
Oh, thank God. Oh man, when I was in middle school, I went to Yosemite, and I think we made the hike up there, right across from I guess it's Yosemite Falls, and it was hard for anybody not in a wedding dress, and that was my first thought. Was like, oh no, like
Yeah.
that is absolutely incredible, and that is some dedication to bring. Obviously, if you didn't get dressed and hike all the way up, but just to bring all that equipment all the way up there. But it paid for itself. I mean, it turned out incredible, and you guys are, extremely lucky to have something like that a lot of people don't ever have. So,
On the hike back, we actually walked in. I walked in my suit, and then she walked in her dress on the way back because to us at that time we didn't really want to
It
change
was
back.
over. Yeah, we had already done it, so we were just like, let's just stay dressed for
Yeah.
a few more minutes. My dress
all
got
the way down.
totally ruined. It was worth it though.
Oh yeah. That is like the most purposeful and awesome the dress session. I'm sure.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like practical, and I love it. Okay, well, I totally got on this tangent about Yosemite and how much I love it and how much I feel like we're already best friends because you guys got married in Yosemite. So I'll move on. I was taking a look at your guys' website, which your work is absolutely incredible. And I think that you mentioned, with how much that you travel, obviously you guys have been out to the West Coast a few times. Your style is really, it's unique. There is this West Coast style. And then there's also like this very, very dark and moody style that a lot of other photographers have and take, especially like Icelandic photographers. But
Yeah.
your photography or editing style is a mix of all of it, and I think that it's really unique. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
I guess that wasn't really a question. My real question was, on the website, it says that you guys are based out of Louisiana, right?
hmm
But you guys are available for travel. However, when I look at your blog, it's just like travel. Like you guys are just booked. Like you guys are busy. You guys are always moving. So what percentage do you guys shoot locally and what percentage is destination?
Our website's pretty deceiving, I think,
Yeah.
in that we really we're gonna have shot 50 weddings this year, and actually four of the actual weddings were destination weddings, but we shoot a lot of sessions elsewhere. So, but like as far as weddings go, there were only 4
Mhm.
out of the 50 that we shot that were not in Louisiana. They were all over Louisiana, but only 4 were like outside of the state.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. How would you say that people find you for your destination wedding photography?
We actually asked that on our contact form. We used to not ask that, but we found that it's very, very important to just get an idea of where people come from. Most of our clients most probably come from past clients,
Mhm.
but it's weird. You see the shift in like making sure SEO is very good.
SEO.
Our SEO is-
SEO is like we spend a lot of time.
Yeah, it's
A lot.
very good right now. So a lot of our inquiries now come from just Google searches. Some come from Instagram. Not a lot come from Instagram
Junebug.
or
We're on
even
Junebug.
Junebug every now and then. But I would say probably most of our inquiries come from past clients or Google search.
And also Instagram. Like when we
Yeah.
travel, we take a bunch of photos and we post them on Instagram and we make it look like we're traveling all the time. And we travel a lot, but we probably put it out there in the universe that we want to travel more. And I think that's kind of the main idea behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are going to want to hire a destination wedding photographer for a reason because
Yeah.
like they love what it is that they do. You know, if you were to just say like, "Oh man, another wedding in, Napa Valley," like boo me,
Right.
nobody's going to want to hire you to be a destination wedding photographer. So, I think, another part of wedding photography is that people are buying into you and your passions. So if you love to travel, like that's just going to be another reason for people to
Yeah.
to want to help you out with that. So that makes a lot of sense, especially on Instagram. That's really smart. You guys have a pretty good sized following, and I'm really interested a little bit more about the SEO stuff. So a little bit, the podcast is for photographers who are going from 0 to 1 rather than 1 to 100, right? These are the moms who just got their first camera, want to start shooting their kids. This is for like the vets who just got home from, being deployed and they want to take some sort of new artistic approach. And they might not have any information on the back end stuff, the websites, organizing clients and whatnot. So you don't have to go into too much detail, but do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about what SEO and how it helps you?
Exactly.
Yeah, so the first thing I'll start off with is depending on what you use to create your website. So we use WordPress, and then we use a company called Flow Themes for our theme.
Mm-hmm.
And the plugin that I use is called Yoast SEO.
Okay.
And what they do is they make it very, very easy because based off of any page or any post, you can have a specific keyword. So if we were shooting at, say, a famous plantation here, which is like Nottoway Plantation, if we wanted to attract more people to hire us in Google search based off of this, then we would put the keyword as Nottoway Plantation.
It's kind of like a little game, like the
Yeah.
lights, like it's when you have the Yoast plugin, you put this keyword in all these places. It's like red light, green
It'll
light,
tell
yellow
you if
light,
it's-
and you like try to make the light green. I like that to be
Yeah.
fun.
So what happens is it tells you if it's a good SEO based off of all the keywords the keyword that you put in all these different places.
So basically, like Nottoway, like if we love shooting at Nottoway, we would want people to search like Nottoway wedding photographer, and then
Yeah.
our pictures would come up, and then they can just click on our pictures to find our website.
But you also
hopefully hire us.
you also want a lot of traffic to go through there too.
Right.
That makes sense.
Also, I'll throw this out there too. Dylan Howe has a very, very good blog. He has 2 blog posts with how to set up your SEO and exactly what you need to do. It's like step by step.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It seems really I was intimidated by it, but it's really not that bad. Like it's not that hard to get around, and if you just like read up a little bit on it, you'll figure it out. It's not too bad.
Right on. I will definitely link to those blog posts in the show notes for sure for any listeners who want to check it out. But so yeah, it's essentially just like the terms that you want people to search for to find you in Google.
Yeah.
Okay, so just putting them all over your
Hashtags in a
website.
way.
What's that?
It's kind of like hashtags in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
I've never heard of it like explained like that, but that totally makes sense. It's just a text-based way of discovering somebody or
Yeah.
something new. Okay. I love it. So, okay, now I want to get a little bit into, I guess, the business side of things, right? The way that you two work. Now, we talked a little bit off air about some upcoming changes, but I want to know what each of your roles are in the company. So, Caitlin, what are you best at? Thad, what are you best at?
Oh gosh, you go first.
So basically, if we were to just compare a wedding day on what actually happens, I always go with the groom and the guys during the wedding day, and she always goes with the bride and the bridesmaids. And we're pretty much standard every single day. That's just how it works. So to go on from there, I just consider myself as the person that kind of sits on the side and then gets different angles of shots. She pretty much controls most of the direction and stuff that goes on. So I would consider kind of me just like helping her out during the day whenever we're shooting weddings.
I don't know. You do a pretty good job.
I'm sure there's more on the back end that you do, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, a lot. He pretty much controls the website, keeps our site updated, and he's a really good proofer of what goes on and what goes off, like if we're not really sure about if a picture is going to go on like the portfolio or anything like that. And I will say, like, I do set up most of the shots, but usually like the killer like if we deliver 100 images to the client, like the epic shots are always his, even though like so
look at him shaking his head. He's like, no,
it's true.
So also, ever since I started with her, I was always very interested in editing. So for the past few months, I've probably spent a good amount of time editing our stuff too. She edits it as well, but
he made the preset that we use.
But I'm editing more and more moving forward. So maybe that's going to be more of what I do.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I would imagine if you guys are shooting 50 weddings well, how many weddings did you guys shoot last year?
27.
Okay, so, wow. So you guys doubled like this year. That's incredible. Yeah. Like, what plan do you guys have going forward in terms of editing? Because that seems like that is just going to be, I mean, I hate to make it sound bad, but a nightmare. Like, I would hate to edit that many weddings, but obviously I'm just one person.
We kind of, like, really developed a system. Like, a lot of the weddings that we shoot are pretty similar. For the most part, like, not everything, but we kind of, like, we really just try to get it right in camera. And then when we get home, all we really have to do is, like, call the thing. And then Thad made an awesome preset that we've been using, put our preset on it, tweak it from there. And it really doesn't take us that long to edit a wedding. Not anymore. I mean, so far this year we've shot a ton. I don't even really know the number, but a lot of weddings, and it took us being like, okay, like we're gonna run out of time in the day to edit this. We better learn how to get it right. So we got better at getting it right in the camera, and that's like really, really, really made it all possible for sure.
The other thing is just doing it to know what makes you faster and better at doing it, because you can take advice from anybody and then you can do it and then hate it. But if you just do it, you're gonna find out what you like and don't like about it. So you just doing it is gonna help out. But we work a lot. You know, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, we work a lot.
And we have some shots that we get like at every wedding, obviously, and we pretty much know the settings for those shots, and we kind of know like what kind of light we want it in, and I don't want to say that we've like totally streamlined our style because we're always changing it, but we definitely have a system, and that's kind of what makes it available to us to do so much work.
So if you know much about photography weddings in Louisiana weddings are pretty traditional. A lot of people, if you look at New Orleans weddings, they're very, very traditional most of the time. We kind of
a lot of the ones that we see.
Yeah. We try to like spice it up a little and do more of just a documentary where we don't actually control much of it. There's some things that you obviously have to control, but when I shoot a wedding during the day, I'm just like, be ready. Like, just be ready to capture anything.
Yeah. Stay on your toes.
Yeah, and sometimes you maybe have to ask the groom, like, hey, could you just go step over there for a second? You're not really
intruding.
Yeah, intruding. You're just like slightly asking, and then you're getting what you want for them.
Another thing is like we really probably overshoot. I think compared to what most people would think overshooting would be, we're probably like right there.
How many images do you think that you take at a wedding?
Like 6,000. Between
the two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 is a high number.
For like 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but the good part is that a lot of people hate to overshoot because they're just already so inefficient at editing, right? That the more photos that you take, the longer that it's going to take to edit. But like you guys talked about, coming up with a system, and I think that is the hardest thing for beginners to get over. Because they feel like every photo has to be absolutely perfect. They have to spend 5 minutes on each photo, tweaking it and getting and you don't. I mean...
You don't.
Yeah, see, exactly. From more professionals, people, listen to it. It's like, if you keep editing every single photo, eventually you're going to get to the point to where you realize that you're making a lot of the same edits. And then once you do that, you just save that, apply that on import, and it will save you so much more time. And then when you just make those minor tweaks... Yeah. I mean, you're going to finish editing a wedding so much faster.
We don't pull photos into Photoshop. We don't, we don't really smooth skin or liquefy people. We don't do any of that. Like, we're not perfectionists. We're definitely, like, not perfectionists in the way that we edit our photos, besides, like, color corrections and, like, changing color. But, like, we don't want to make people look different. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. I think that's why people like our work, because we don't spend a lot of time, like, changing the way people look. Like, we want people's authentic selves in their wedding day, and I think that's what people want 10 years from now, generally speaking. So
The most important thing is just doing it and finding exactly what you like. See, like lately, I use more things like gradient filters. It doesn't really take that much more time, because once you learn how to use it, then you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, then you're probably going to sit there and say, I don't know how this works or anything like that. So
Are you talking about on the camera or in Lightroom?
No, just in Lightroom, like
Okay,
putting down gradient filters or like brushing stuff in and out, burning, dodging, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you guys got a great system that works out great for you. And it's funny, I feel like I have a pretty similar system. And whenever I tell another photographer that it's like, yeah, I usually deliver a wedding, maybe 3 weeks after the wedding, and they're just like blown away. They're like, no, man, I'm on like 6 months behind right now.
Oh, no.
Right? It's scary to think about. And I don't know why people don't take more time to learn faster editing workflows than they do, watching tutorials on how to shoot Brennizers or just more shooting tutorials, because the more that you shoot, like we said, the more that you're going to edit. So
yeah.
The faster you learn how to edit.
I could just sit down with the wedding for 2 days from importing the photos. If it's all that I worked on, I could finish a wedding in 2 days. If it's all that I worked on, so if I worked from 9 to 5 with a lunch break.
Yeah, no, I mean that's completely doable. I have a personal question. Are you guys kind of like me, where it's like, when you get home from a wedding and you like import the photos, while they're importing, you're just like, oh no, like they're gonna figure out that I'm a fraud. Like, all these photos are terrible, and then you just
I can't even
walk
look
away.
at it for like a week.
Oh yes.
I'm to walk away.
I'm total opposite. I like to look at the wedding
It
right
gives
after
me
we shoot
heartburn.
it.
I'm gonna take a Prilosec.
Yep. I'm on Caitlin's team right here. Thad, I think you're a masochist, man. There's no way that I could ever do anything like that. It's just, yeah, take Caitlin's approach. You just got to walk away for a week, and then when you come back, suddenly it's like, oh, not so bad. All right, here we go. Oh, man, I love it. If you guys travel so much, when you travel, you guys got to pack a lot of stuff. When you go to weddings, you have to bring even more stuff. So packing light has got to be pretty important for you guys. You guys want to talk about if you have ever maybe adapted your shooting style just so that you would have to bring less equipment?
Definitely.
Well, it's kind of weird because whenever we first started shooting, we shot with a lot of zoom lenses, and in the past
which are great.
Yeah, in the past 2 years, we only shoot prime now. We use a 24, 35, 45 tilt, 50, 85, and then we have a 100 macro and a 135. So mainly every wedding day, that's what we bring with us. We have an Ona bag, and then
I have a Kelly Moore bag, and we have two, and we each have a flash on our camera.
Wow, so just, like, pretty bare minimum. I mean, you guys got a good assortment of lenses, but aside from that, it's just pretty, like, minimalistic.
We do bring a backup flash.
Yeah.
And we have a backup camera. But that's the only things that we bring. That, like, I usually carry 2 cameras, and I'll shoot with the 85 and 35 all day long, never take them off ever. That's all that I use all day. And he pretty much uses the 50 and the 135 all day. I haven't even really used my macro lens in, like, a while, because I use my 35 for ring shots. So, like, 35 and 85 all day long. And I think if we had the 35, 85, and 50 only, I don't think it would really change much, honestly.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, yeah, it's just that very minimal style, just to kind of free you up to be able to do whatever you guys need to at a moment's notice.
And primes make you move more. They make you think harder. And I think that's important for people to learn. Like, starting out, like, zooms, like, not that it gives you an easy way out, because, I mean, obviously pictures look different, but I think when you have to, like, physically get closer and further away from your subject, it, like, totally changes the way you shoot. Or, like, putting a different lens on. Like, I shot with an 85 on my camera 95% of the time for, like, a year. And then I put a 35 on my camera, and it's like our whole style completely changed. So yeah, I mean, like, don't be scared of stuff like that. I think is a good bit of advice.
Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of beginners are very scared to commit to, I guess, is the prime lens. Because, well, what if, I have on my 85 and then all of a sudden, like, a bride walks in a room and it's a very small room? Well,
And
then
you
maybe you
walk
shouldn't have on
over
the
it.
85. Yeah, walk around, or,
Yeah.
I think with experience comes you're going to be able to feel the flow of a wedding and kind of anticipate what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
And when you can anticipate what's going to happen next, you can make the appropriate lens choice.
yeah,
Also, I feel like on wedding days you can't be scared. You can't be scared and think that, oh my gosh, I missed like that shot. Like the day is so busy, crazy that
Yeah.
you're gonna get so much great stuff
yeah,
that you can't just live your day saying, oh my gosh, I missed that. Like it's something that's probably way better than that in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
So-
and not only that, it's like then when you go to bring those photos into edit, every single time you'll look at a photo and be like, could have done that different. I could have done that different. So
yeah.
it just like your brain
always
is just
gonna do
being an
that.
asshole, right? You're always thinking, I either missed the shot or I could have got the shot better. So at some point you just gotta do it.
Yeah, you just gotta do it. That's so true. I mean, we miss shots sometimes. Like,
Everybody
happens.
does. Hmm.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Okay. I really want to be mindful of your time, so I don't want to take up too much more. But we talked a little bit about gear. I enjoyed that. That's always fun. You guys are if you guys are Canon shooters?
Yeah,
Canon.
well, she can.
Yeah.
I thought so when you said the 135. Nikon
Yes.
Nikon shooters hate their 135. They're like, this is garbage. Why can't?
They
Anyway.
probably should like the 100 or the 105. The new 105 1.4 is probably.
I don't know anything about that.
I'm a Fuji shooter, so it's like I left that game like a long time ago. But have you guys tried any of the Fuji gear yet?
I rented the X100T
Mhm.
for whenever we shot an elopement in the Redwoods.
Man.
I was gonna buy one just for a daily shooter. I ended up not shooting it. Buying it, but I'm interested in Fuji and what they're doing for sure. But we just have so much invested in Canon right now,
Yeah.
and our cameras are only a few years old. We don't have any issues, so I think that they fit our style perfectly. And I guess once we get to a point where maybe our gear definitely needs refresh, like camera bodies, because they may not last forever, maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
switch
especially
to
with that new G,
Mark IV.
whatever the medium format Fuji is, it's like still
Oh,
smaller
yeah.
than a 5D Mark III, and it's like now
Yeah.
you're shooting medium format. It's
I
incredible.
actually started shooting with medium format film.
Did you really?
So, yeah, like in school, that's what I shot film in
Oh,
school. And I
so-
thought about using film for weddings, but no way, Jose. Not
Yeah.
with me. We shoot way too much.
You think that you'd be able to do it if it wasn't? Let me rephrase that. Are the development costs stopping you from making that decision any easier?
I think the thing that stops me, and it's probably not the best excuse, but it's just the truth. I think we like to shoot a lot of movement, and we like to shoot a lot, and we like to shoot between moments, and we like to shoot, the actual moments and before the moment, and we just shoot so much. And I think if I had film and I was worried about getting everything really perfect, I think our style would change a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. However, have you ever thought about just trying it for portraits, or maybe you're just not even
Yeah.
interested? Yeah,
we have done it for portraits.
And then do you guys develop it yourself, or do you guys ship it out?
No.
We sent it to
Yeah.
indie film. Indie
Where's
film?
that at?
I think
I don't even know.
it's in like Alabama or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's not really a lot of film labs left, and unfortunately for people who like really want to shoot film, it's it's just getting tougher and tougher. Of course, with digital just getting better and better. And I think that I still bring my dad's 87 Pentax K1000 to
camera.
weddings. It's a great camera. It's a workhorse. I mean, this thing hasn't had a battery in it since I was like 12, and it still just
Don't need it.
shoots away. I mean, it's great. It's great. But that's the thing, is that developing it just gets to this point to where it's no longer fun, and then you get those photos back, and then it's great at that point. But anyway, totally off subject here. Okay, so Okay, told you that I wanted to be mindful of your time. I'm gonna ask you guys one
Okay.
last
It's okay.
question.
Yeah, we're not in a
This
rush.
is fun.
If you guys could, okay, I'm gonna start with Caitlin. Caitlin, what is your least favorite part about shooting weddings?
Oh my gosh.
That's a hard
like
question,
the
I'm
actual
sorry.
wedding day or like the whole process?
Whatever you think is the right answer.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good
Oh,
question.
My least favorite thing about it. I think my least favorite thing is just managing expectations by clients. A lot of times people like see our work and they see, like natural light photos that we take of the bride and groom like running through a field or whatever, and then they have their wedding like at sunset indoors and they don't give us the opportunity to get those shots, and it's been a part of our conversation when we book to like let people know like you need to give us time to do these portraits. And I think that's a big thing that I underestimated when I started wedding photography, because I would see all these hero shots and I'd be like, okay, like that can't be too bad. And then I learned how to use my camera and I was like, okay, I can totally execute this. But I mean, I'm still working on that, but I think a lot of it has to do with like what the client gives you, and a lot of that has to do with your communication. And I think just like having a really good relationship with clients is my favorite thing about wedding photography. But I think managing their expectations is kind of some of the tougher conversations to have, just in general, just so that when people don't want to work with you as far as like getting those images, or like if they're not on the same page with you about how their wedding day is going to be, it gets hard. It gets hard to sit there and shoot it, and we still do our best, but I think when we know we can do better, that's kind of heartbreaking.
Building that relationship with the client, like go have coffee with them, go have a beer or whatever you drink with them, and then kind of get to know them on a personal level, because on that wedding day,
it means all the difference.
Like your friends.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps.
That was a rock star answer, guys. Like, that was perfect. A lot of people say stuff like, just like technical things, like, oh, I hate it when my shutter button doesn't work or whatever. But I think that was like a really like deep answer. Yeah, that does suck.
You want to hear mine?
It's my favorite and my least favorite thing.
I'll be specific. Sparkler exits for me are the worst part, because most of the time people are so drunk and the chance of you getting burnt is very high, and it never goes as planned. So they either bought the wrong sparklers, to where
they're all drunk,
to where they're so smoky they didn't buy the smokeless ones. So that's probably my least favorite.
We pulled out all the stops at this one wedding we shot. We were like getting a drag shutter. The couple was coming towards us. It was all perfect. Everything was perfect, and they kissed. We were like, yes. They kissed, and everything was right. And then like we looked at the back of our camera, and somebody had thrown a solo cup. And it was the only shot we got where they were kissing, and it was like in their face, like a big solo cup. Like you can't edit that out.
Did you deliver it to him?
Yeah, I gave it back to him. See, I tried.
Yeah, you tried. Oh man.
Throw solo cups at you.
It's a moment.
Who throws a solo cup at a wedding though? I don't know. Okay. What do you guys think is your favorite? Caitlin, I think I did a little research on you, and you went to college for photography, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to school for visual arts in general, but my my project work was all photography.
Okay.
So my degree is just general visual arts.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then this question might be directed more towards you. I know that you said that Caitlin has taught you a lot about photography, but what do you guys do? Do you guys continue your growth? Do you guys go to workshops? Do you guys just YouTube tutorials all day, Creative Live? Like, how do you guys grow?
So she's been to 3 workshops. I've been to 2 workshops. We went to Mystic this year. That's whenever I proposed to her. And then last year we went to a workshop in Portland, and that was the first time that we went to Portland. Me personally, I love community. I love meeting other photographers just to talk about like where your struggles and non-struggles are, and that's really how you learn
Go shoot.
new stuff.
Go shoot.
So yeah, we do go to workshops. I research stuff all the time. I follow other photographers. Obviously, we're in groups like the ones that you found with someone and stuff. So we definitely look at all that stuff. How do we progress forward is basically just trying to be different in any way that we can.
We shoot a lot, and if we went a long time without shooting and we see a cute couple in a coffee shop, we ask them if we can photograph them. We just try to shoot. Like, we just shoot and shoot and shoot.
No kidding, just right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We've done it. When we travel, like, we actually went to Canada on our honeymoon, and we were at a bar having a drink, and there was, like, a really cute couple sitting, like, across from us, and we were like, we need to do a session in Canada. So we just walked over, and we were like, hey, like, we're really trying to get more destination stuff. We want to blog this because this place is beautiful. Do y'all want some free photos?
Yep.
That takes balls. That is
so we
awesome.
seen again if they said no. Like,
right.
It's no sweat off my back. If they didn't want to do it, we'd go to another bar and hopefully find some other cute couple.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just the best way to do it is like you said, just get out there, shoot, take chances. Obviously, by asking these couples to just go out and do it. I love it. Awesome. Well, I mean, guys, I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I don't want to hold you for too long. Why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you anywhere on the internet?
So our website right now is CaitlinGuidryPhotography.com, but that's going to change soon, so stay tuned. That's part of it now. So, and then that's CaitlinGuidry. And then my Instagram is Caitlin Guid, Caitlin Guid.
Yeah, and mine is Thad Billiot. It's ThadBilliot. And mainly, we post stuff on our Facebook business account too, which is Caitlin Guidry Photography. But most of the time you'll see most of our most recent stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's where we have a bigger following. People see that probably before Facebook, because business Facebook, and if people don't share it, then most people don't really see it.
Right.
You guys use Snapchat or Instagram stories at all?
I started getting into Instagram stories. I never got into Snapchat.
I don't really. Before Instagram stories came out, I was gonna start using Snapchat more for sessions, like actually doing behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pretty sure a few weeks after that is whenever stories came out. I try to do behind the scenes more and more, so people kind of have a feel on what we look like when we're shooting sessions and stuff like that. I need to do it more often, but that's something that we definitely need to work on.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough.
I understand.
But I find it helpful. It's really cool whenever you see all these other photographers that you've been following, and then you see behind their lives of who they actually are. It's a lot different than just seeing their photos on their Instagram.
And how they direct, and like if they direct and
and you guys are at such an advantage having the two of you, because I find, as just like myself, when I go to weddings, it's hard to show portraits being done, because it's hard for me to be like, all right, pose like this, okay, now turn around. Oh no, I was taking a video, not a photo. Sorry, I was Snapchatting. Sorry about that. It's kind of hard. So I think that you guys, like I said, are at like a huge advantage. You guys could just totally kill it, especially with how much you guys travel, and obviously with the amount of weddings that you guys are going to be shooting this year. Your content is just going to go up and up and up and up. I think that wherever you guys have the most social following, which is obviously Instagram, just take over. Just start killing it.
We're trying, working on it.
You got to start doing it daily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Last question, I promise. I think I've said that 3 times now. Last question. If you guys had to go back to the first time that you ever picked up a camera and you're like, oh, what is this nice fancy thing? And you had to tell yourself one piece of advice from whatever it is that you know now, what would that be?
Oh, I know the answer to that right away.
I know mine. Use LiveView.
Use LiveView, really?
Yeah.
Wow, just for focus peaking?
Just for exposing properly quicker. I would find that I think some people are scared to use LiveView, but last year whenever we went to the first workshop, that's what was really taught to us. Is most people are scared to use it, and since then I use live view so much.
Use it all the time.
And like I said, not just for focusing, but like to give a great example is if you use a tilt shift, it has manual focus. It's only manual. So if you use live view, then you can actually zoom in live view, manually focus it to where you want it to be sharp, and then it's much easier to do it in live view and zoom in than to use the viewfinder. It's a lot easier. So I use live view even. Dude, my shutter is always clicking. Like, it's always clicking close. I'll turn on live view just to bring my camera up to see what it's like, because most of the time I'm pretty standard with like ISO. Most of the time I'm just adjusting shutter.
Yeah.
Mainly what
man. With the EVF on these Fujis, man, you'd really love it. It's just always live view, just looking right through the camera.
Yeah.
I would say, I know, like when I first started. Like I learned film in school, but we did a lot of other mediums too. Like I was in painting classes and all this stuff, and then I started doing digital after I graduated. And I think like I was so hung up on like what the photographers that I was looking up to were using, and I was so obsessed with like being able to buy a better camera, and like being on YouTube all the time and like stalking people's work and trying to figure out how they make their greens that color and all this crazy stuff. And I think if I could go back and give myself advice, it would be to like get out there and shoot. Like don't stop trying to figure out the magic formula on the internet, and stop trying to figure out like the magic camera that's going to make everything great. Like that's not going to make it great. Like you have to go use your camera and like go shoot and go find a random couple and figure it out. Like that's how you learn and that's how you grow. You just have to go do it.
Love it.
That's really it.
Guys, I mean, that was a perfect way to end it. Thank you guys again so much for coming on the podcast. I learned a lot, and I know that you provided a ton of value for our listeners. So
thank you for having us. Yeah,
I had a blast, and I can't wait to watch you guys just explode into this like new photography power couple.
Thank you.
We'll try.
Yeah.
What did I tell you, huh? How awesome was that interview? Caitlin and Thad killed it. Guys, if you're listening, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I mean, seriously, the way that you guys look at photography, I admire. The way that it has brought... we didn't really get into this, but you could tell that it brought you two closer together, right? Having this common bond of doing something together, like such as photography, and doing something as epic that involves something that you two already love doing together, which is travel. Really strengthening up that relationship is so cool. I mean, it really seems like you guys have got it figured out. I'm so happy for you guys, and I really cannot wait to watch where the future takes you guys, because I know that you guys are just going to be like this huge power couple in photography. It is going to be so cool to watch. So guys, keep an eye out for them, I'm telling you. And listeners, of course, if you guys liked what they said, I want to know what your biggest takeaway was. What was it? Was it how they interact with their clients? Was it how minimal amount of a kit they bring to a wedding? Was it how much, they just love to travel? Like, what was your biggest takeaway? What was the one thing that you think, man, either I would love to do that in my photography, or I'm going to start doing that in my photography today? What was it? Let me know. Head on over to the Beginner Photography Podcast show notes, and that's at thebeginnerphotographypodcast.com. You can leave a comment down below on this episode. It is episode 36 with Caitlin and Thad, of course. Just let them know how much you really appreciated them coming on the episode, and let them know what it was that you took away from it. I'm really excited to hear. I can't wait to read those. And if you guys want to reach out on Facebook, Instagram, you guys can follow me on Snapchat as well. I've had a lot of people start to follow me on Snapchat and reach out, ask questions and whatnot. And it's been a ton of fun watching you guys, the progress that you guys are having in your photography. I can watch through Snapchat and Instagram as well. It's been great. So, again, let Caitlin and Thad know what it was that you thought about their episode. And I want to know what your biggest takeaway was, because that's really the point of this podcast is helping you. So if you're not doing anything with this knowledge, well then, just stop listening. Like, what's the point? Well, Are you just wasting your time listening to me? Like, I don't understand. Like, the point of this podcast is to bring knowledge to you so that you can advance to get to a point, whatever it may be. Maybe you just want to take better pictures of your kids. Maybe you want to be the next Caitlin and Thad power couple destination wedding photographers. What is it? Let me know. I want to help you out more. And I want to know what you're going to implement into your photography now so that you can get to that point. Because you can do it. I promise you. You can do it. You just have to put in the time and the hard work. It's tough. Nobody said that it would be easier, but man, is it rewarding. It is so rewarding. Guys, thank you for listening to this week's episode. Next week, we're going to have another doozy. It is going to be a good one. I can't wait for you to hear it. I want you guys to get out there and start shooting. And you know what? Here it is. I have a question of the week, okay? My question of the week. I'm going to post this on Instagram. Head over to our Instagram page, Beginner Photo Podcast, all one word, on Instagram. You're going to see it. And then you'll see the photo. It'll have the question of the week. I guess it's not a question of the day. It'll have the question of the week. And the question of the week is, if you could be a destination wedding photographer, where is the one place that you would kill to travel to shoot a wedding, family session, anything? Where's that one place? Where's that one destination where you would give anything to go shoot there? Again, answer me on Instagram. That is Instagram Beginner Photo Podcast. You'll see the photo. It's a question of the week. Hope to see you guys there. Also, while you're there, check out my Instagram stories. We're doing daily photography words of wisdom where I just take my quote of the day calendar and I relate that into either my life, how it's helped me in my photography, or how it could potentially, be viewed as a photographer. Again, there's been a lot of people who have reached out and said that it's been really helpful to them. Hopefully it can be helpful to you. I would love if you could let me know. I know John out there is listening right now. He's loving these things. That's great. So I hope that you guys love it as much as John does. Until next week, I want you guys to follow me on Instagram to start watching the stories. Answer that question of the week. I'll get back to you. Until next week, one last time. Get out. Just start shooting. Have fun, guys. Start doing something new. Push your boundaries. Enjoy and post those photos, all right? Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Later.